collapsed. My knee is swollen. I'm in the hospital right now. And she's like, oh, Angela, she's like, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Tremendously fit. Yeah, she was featured on the cover of Women's Health magazine 2 years ago as one of the country's next fitness stars.
Angela Gargano she's an athlete, she's a coach, she's a fitness model, a speaker.
Angela Gargano. How about that one? I don't come across very many ninja warriors.
I had this thing in my mind, like, I'm going to be a top female athlete. I got up there and I'm like, I'm just literally like flying through these obstacles. And I get to this one obstacle, I land and I just collapse in front of everybody. Now I can't walk, I can't train, but I had an opportunity to sit down there finally and dive a lot deeper into my mental health. Everything was going so fast. I wasn't taking a moment to breathe and ask myself, how are you really doing? The biggest part with getting unstuck for sure is taking the moment to recognize that it's okay if you feel like shit. Allow yourself to recognize the feelings that you have. Once you start to do that, it starts to lose its power. And then you are able to move forward. And when you're feeling disconnected, a lot of times the one thing you need to do is
The Big Silence. It's time to sing.
All right. Welcome to the Big Silence podcast, Angela Gargano.
Thanks so much for having me.
How do I introduce you? I mean, I know you're a 6-time ninja warrior, but who are you today?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, the Ninja Warrior still is always in there, but 6-time American Ninja Warrior, keynote speaker, and now just helping people overcome challenges, resilience.
I love that. And I've been listening to your podcast. What if it all turns out?
What if it all works
out?
What if it all goes right? That's basically the same thing.
What if it all goes right? Yeah, it's just motivational and takeaways. And I really love that because a lot of podcasts, it's just casual talking and you can pick up your own takeaways, but you actually have action items in there.
For sure. That was my biggest thing. I wanted to make sure that no matter what I do, that it's not just like you're leaving motivated and inspired. It's like, but like what, I'm very much an action taker. Maybe you're similar. I'm like, I need to know what I need to do.
Well, I won't give you any action items here, but I am an action taker for sure. I think, just in our conversations, people take away so much. Just a lot of these conversations we have at the Big Silence, it is about resilience and how you can overcome so many different things. Yeah. So I met you through Liz Plaza, right?
Yes.
When was that?
When I actually physically met you?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. That was probably maybe years ago now. No.
I know.
Yeah.
I was trying to put it together.
I met Liz back in like 2018.
Yeah.
That's when I knew her.
Yeah. Yeah, so Liz Plaza has been on the podcast twice, so you can listen to her episodes. So, all right, let's go Ninja Warrior. I want to talk about that because that was like one of those moments in your life where you're like at the top there, national television, doing your thing. First of all, explain to those listening, what is a Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, so believe it or not, and I always like to preface this before, I also didn't know what a Ninja Warrior was.
Like, sure.
So I was a biochemist before all of this. So I had 3 years where I was a biochemist working in the lab studying prostate cancer. I was also working with a compound called Fabrazyme, but my friend was trying out for American Ninja Warrior. I had no idea what it was, but a friend was like, you should try out for this show too. So I honestly had no idea what it was until I got physically on the show and then was like, okay, now I got to figure out a ninja.
So were you working out? Were you fit at that point?
Yeah, I was decently fit. I was actually I did college gymnastics, and then I also did the fitness competitions where, my mentor always says how, you said you did maybe one.
I did one.
One, yes, with Kathy
yes,
Savage? Okay,
yes,
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who I did it with.
Okay.
So she was absolutely fabulous and amazing. So I did have like some type of fitness background, but ninja is like completely different from gymnastics or even like regular working out.
Yeah. But what is ninja?
Okay.
But what is it?
So what is it? Okay. So basically you go onto the show and there's 5 obstacles. So you start off with one, it's the first night. It's overnight. It's filmed overnight, by the way. So you go into these 5 obstacles. Typically they're like grip obstacles, agility obstacles. And then you obviously have seen the one where you run up the giant warped wall, right? So the first night you go through those 5 obstacles, it's whoever completes it the furthest and the fastest. The top 30 will move on to the next night. And then the next night is a longer course. So it's the same beginning course. And then there's more after that. And then the top 15, the first and the fastest, will move on to go into Las Vegas to try and compete to win $1 million by
Wait,
going.
really? You
Yeah.
get $1 million?
But only like 3 people have ever won it. Like it's that hard. Like it's that hard to win $1 million like on this show. And then you'll go to Vegas and it's like a whole thing. It's like a couple of different stages and like all these insane obstacles that you have to get through. So that's basically what Ninja is. A big piece of it is very much upper body. It's very much like climbing and I would say agility. So you need to be pretty quick. You need to be pretty strong with your upper body when you're doing it.
Yeah. I want to go back to fitness competitions.
Oh,
here.
yeah. Let's do it.
I love talking about this. So we, I didn't do Kathy's program, but I knew her and like some of the other girls. And I competed in Miami. And it was like swim. Is that one? Or what is
bikini, Miss Fitness Universe? Or yeah, probably.
I think so. And I met a whole bunch of the Savage girls in Miami. And Lori Harder, do you know her now?
Yes, I do. Everyone, I feel like everyone kind of came from that part.
Still here.
We're still here. We're still doing stuff.
But what was your experience with that?
So Kathy was absolutely amazing. So again, still was a biochemist at that time. And I was looking for something to do after college gymnastics because typically after any kind of sport you do in college, your identity is like gone. Like you like leave and you're like, wait, I don't have a sport. I don't know what to do with myself. So searching around, I met this woman. I don't know if you knew Dawn Butterfield. She was like an OG. She used to do it on like, back in the day, these fitness competitions were on ESPN.
Oh, wow.
It was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I randomly met her and then she introduced me to Kathy. And then Kathy was like the first person I ever met who asked me like some deeper questions about my life. She was like, well, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you want to do? And I was like, wow, this is the first time someone's ever asked me any of these questions. And for some reason after that day, she said, I'm going to sponsor you and you're going to do these fitness competitions. And I was just like, you don't even know me. I was like, what if I don't show up and do what you are hoping? She's like, no, I just know that you are. And she gave me literally a pair of clear high heel shoes that day.
I used to go to the stripper store, get those swimsuits and those shoes. Yes,
it was crazy. I was like, you want me to go where? She's like, this stripper store. And I'm like, okay. And I was very conservative. Like I did not I didn't show like any of my body ever, even though I was a gymnast. Like I was very like covered up type of person.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, and here's your swimsuit, which was like
nothing,
like super teeny. And then for me, I did the ones where you're like flip around on stage. So you have like a whole routine. Yeah.
Oh, we were one of those.
I was one of those.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just walked and did a terrible pose.
But I honestly, so my experience was actually pretty positive with it.
Yeah.
I feel like it helped me become confident because I was kind of always like, I don't know, shy. Like I didn't want people to see me. And it allowed me to show my muscles in my body. And growing up, like people would say like, you're manly, you've got muscular arms. Like I had all of that like in my mind. So to be on stage and for them to be like, oh no, that's beautiful. It's beautiful that you have muscles. And stuff like that. It was really, really nice to be able to go up on stage and kind of show that off. But it was definitely like really scary.
Yeah. I'm very shy, especially when I did it, which was probably like 16 years ago, 15 years ago or something. And I would never do something like that. But it's you put yourself in those situations that you're so scared to do. And then you're like, it was kind of fun. You know, it wasn't like my thing. I never did it again.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot. And and
it does build up that especially so being on stage and the stage presence of it definitely builds up your confidence because again you're just like able to show up as this like maybe highest version of yourself. I think where I struggled later on was like especially with the dieting and like I never wanted to call it a diet, but basically like you were like it's extreme. Like it's like take the seasonings off your food. You know, you're drinking like massive gallons of water, and then after the like body dysmorphia that comes with that, even though you look pretty good, like you're looking in the mirror and you're like, well, I'm not as lean as I was.
No, there's
like that
so much dysmorphia and eating disorders in that industry too.
For sure.
There's the positive side and then there is the ugly side. And, you know, I definitely with some of the girls had issues with that. And for me, I didn't feel like it was healthy enough. And I don't want to be that restrictive. But
for sure.
It was a good experience.
Yeah. I mean, especially for me, like I'm like flipping around on the stage and now I'm also depleted. I'm like, that's like kind of hard to do like at the same time. So I was like, this is great. But also, and I knew, and maybe we were the same after you did it the first time. I did it up till 2016. I got Miss Fitness America. That was my goal, like to get Miss Fitness America. I wanted to get woohoo. I had an awesome routine. It was to Jungle Book. I was a jungle girl. Like it was fun. But after that, like I knew, I'm like, all right, like I want to do something that's going to be really just more focused on my actual strength. And whereas like food is for fuel instead of food being like I have to take take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like all these tips and tricks that I learned. And it's so funny sometimes, like if I'm around bodybuilder guys and we're at a pool party or the beach and I'm like, are you wearing Preparation H? And they'll be like, how do you know that? I'm like, I did a fitness competition once.
You're like, I know.
Pop those abs.
For sure.
Sometimes people are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
No, I love it. Definitely it's a lot of learnings from that for sure.
All right, back to Ninja Warrior. You are crushing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get on accidentally, became obsessed with it after. And then I really saw that like there wasn't a lot of females who were going through it. So I had this thing in my mind, like, I'm going to be a top female athlete. Like I want to come in here and just like crush the course. But I wound up getting rejected for 2 years. So I didn't get on 2 times after that.
Okay.
And then finally get on. But this time, like I had like become part of the ninja community. So now I've been like ninjaing like at the ninja gyms. I had a coach, like I was doing all the things. So I got up onto this course. I'm like cruising through and I felt so confident. Like it was insane. Like I got up there and I'm like, I'm just literally like flying through these obstacles. Like it's nothing. You see people in the audience who are just like, who is this girl? Like, where did she come from? She came like kind of out of nowhere. And I get to this one obstacle. I knew that once I finished it, that I would be the top female. I would have made it. And I land and I just collapsed on the course in front of everybody.
I've seen that video somewhere.
Oh, yeah. It's
moment.
a brutal video. And I had to be carried off literally. And that was it. Like, that was it.
Did you know what happened?
I had a feeling in the back of my mind because I had torn my ACL in college, my other side. And I felt like that give out. And I was like, I feel like this might be an ACL tear. But I was in denial, definitely being carried off. I was like, it's probably fine. I was like, they're going to let me compete again tomorrow, right? And everyone's like, no.
So how did you feel in that moment?
I felt like so defeated. I felt like such a failure, honestly. And I remember calling my friend. She actually used to do the fitness competitions as well, too. She was like one of my closest friends. And I called her. She's like, how did it go? I'm waiting. I can't like wait to hear. And I was just crying on the phone. And I was like, you're not going to believe this. Like I collapsed. My knee is swollen. I'm in the hospital right now. And she's like, oh, Angela. She's like, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. And I was like, I hate you.
Not say that right now.
I know. I was like, this is not, I'm like, this is the worst moment of my life for sure. But I felt like a failure. And then same thing when it came to, college gymnastics and go like after, like my identity was placed so much on me being that top athlete. That's all I was doing and all I was focused on. So when I didn't have that anymore, I just didn't even know who I was anymore. I didn't feel like I mattered at all.
Why do you think you got to a place where you held your entire identity into one thing?
I think it honestly came from maybe that was the time where I actually felt like people cared about me. You know what I mean? Because otherwise I was more that person who was, like we were talking about, kind of shy and kind of like reserved. And I felt like when I was accomplishing something, like people were like, yes, awesome, great job. And even so, I mean, and I have amazing parents, but it's like, I think that they gave me the most attention when I was accomplishing something.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
So
I
let's
feel
go
like,
back to the
I
parents.
feel like a lot of that came back. And again, I don't think it was like their intention for it to be like that, but I feel like definitely a lot of pieces of it was probably like, okay, like I'm actually getting attention in my household. A lot of the attention was placed on my brother because there was a lot going on with him, like trouble wise. So I feel like for me, I was like, oh, to show that, hey, like I'm doing something good. It was achieving.
Right. And so as a kid, your parents gave you that attention and praised you, and that made you feel loved. So then as an adult, you wanted that attention too, so that you feel loved.
Absolutely. And it was all about, how can I achieve more? What can I do more? What can I do more of? And it never gave me the second to slow down and actually ask myself, okay, cool, without achieving, like you're also a human being and you're just as good.
So this could have been the best thing that happened to you because somebody maybe had to learn how to love yourself for who she is.
Absolutely.
And know that that's enough.
For sure. I think that, that definitely was, again, I didn't see it at the time. I didn't think of it at the time, but it made me strip away. Okay, cool. Now I can't walk. I can't train. I couldn't do certain stuff for work. I'm like, but I had an opportunity to sit down there finally and dive a lot deeper into my mental health and realize that I wasn't even honestly paying attention to any of it. Like I was just doing. Everything was going so fast. I wasn't taking a moment to breathe and ask myself, how are you really doing? Like what's really going on in the back of your mind? And I think it was really important for me to have that moment, even though it still sucked. And I think no matter what, those moments still suck no matter what, but it was definitely exactly what I needed.
Yeah. So where do you go from there?
At that point, I had left the biochemistry job. So I actually owned my own gym at that time, which was pretty
How
wild.
was that?
That was interesting. It's like, I think a lot of times, like, next step for people, it's like, cool, like, I shut down my gym. I did all those fitness competitions. Now I'm like, oh, like, I'm going to be a trainer. Like, that's the next thing. Oh, cool. You're a trainer. What's the next step? Let's open a gym. Like, it's just kind of like kept happening to the next thing. Yeah, the responsibility that comes with owning a physical brick and mortar was more than I was ready for.
Yours was probably a lot bigger than the first Tone It Up gym, but there was one in Hermosa.
Oh, no way.
It was like the size of this room. But the size of the podcast studio here. Maybe a little bigger. But it was small. It was just for group classes or personal training.
Yeah.
But then you realize you can reach a lot more people on the interweb.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely. I mean, but I thank goodness that I tore my ACL, because I probably would have stayed there. I mean, you create like a community, you become so close with these people, right? And when I tore my ACL, I realized that, like, oh my goodness, like, I don't want to own a brick and mortar. Like, there's so much more that I want to do.
Well, because you own it, you live there.
You live there. Like, you can't leave. I mean, you were literally, and it's all the responsibility is on you with absolutely everything. The people, the accountant. I mean, you still have that with an online business, but I feel like when you actually physically own a location, it does feel a little like confined, like you're trapped.
So did you sell it? Did you
So I wound up I literally shut it down. I lost money on it. I had no money after that. I shut it down. I moved back into my dad's basement.
And where was this?
Rhode Island.
Okay.
I was in Rhode Island. So I was driving it to Kathy's like Sunday sessions in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like physically seeing her. So after that, I'm trying to go back to the question we were just at.
Closed down the gym, lost all your money.
Lost all my money.
Moved
Everything's great.
Daddy again.
Everything's awesome.
Feeling good, confident.
Feeling great over there. After all of that, really had to dive into my mental health and understanding who I was outside of that, and also again all the things that I was neglecting, which was my mindset. I was also neglecting just like smaller parts of my body. Like I was just like throwing big, massive ninja skills, but not focused on like my core, having a strong foundation, like some of those things that are very, very important so that you can be a really good athlete also. So it really gave me the opportunity to sit down and look at all those different things and put the focus on it and have the time to really dive into it.
So how did you start the pull-up revolution? Like, how did that come about? Was that in Daddy's basement?
Was that? I think I was at that point, yes, which is a whole thing as well. Basically what happened was when I was in my dad's basement, I was commuting in New York City every single day. So he lived in Morris Plains, New Jersey. So I would take the train at like 4 a.m. in New York City, and I told myself, I knew this is like while I'm recovering from the ACL. So like I have a big brace on that like I'm walking around with at the same time, going into the city, and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna learn from the best of the best. I'm gonna be in the city. I'm gonna like go into all the classes that I know the top trainers are in and just learn and just be here. And during that time, I got asked to run a class for Women's Health magazine.
Okay.
Where I met Liz Plosser.
Amazing.
Crazy, yes. And Liz came up to me, and like so many of the people I was training, she said, the only goal I've ever wanted was to get a pull-up. And I was like, interesting. I was like, I'm like, well, she's like, and I would really like to get it if you could help me get it in 2 weeks. You know, a lot of that stuff is like in New York City, it's like, I need this tomorrow, always. She's like, I need it in like 2 weeks. She's like, is it possible? And I'm like, well, I was like, it absolutely can be possible, but you have to put in the work, and it can't be like just when you're training with me. Like, I'm gonna have to give you stuff to do outside of the gym. I'm like, are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. And so I started training her at the gym, and she started from like hanging there, going nowhere. And then within 12 days, got her first pull up.
Oh, wow.
And there was something so powerful about me seeing her, because she completely transformed after that. Like, she got her chin above the bar, and I was like, cool, this is about getting the skill of a pull up. After that, I was like, this is not about the pull up at all. Like, this is like empowering. Like, you could tell she's like, oh cool, what's next? What can I do next? Oh, what can happen with my body now?
That's the thing when you set that like a tiny goal. I can't do a pull-up, by the way. I don't even know. Like, I don't know. Have you seen this long, lanky body? There's a lot to lift.
Challenge accepted.
But I always look back at it, the little accomplishments, like when I finally did a triathlon and I crossed the finish line and cried. It wasn't that I did a triathlon. It was that I set out to do something and I did it, and I didn't quit on myself. And that leads to, well, what else can I do? Okay.
And it opens up doors. It's insane. It's not just even physically. It'll open up doors like in your career, in like just life in general. Like what else is possible? I always thought this one thing was impossible.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I think of a triathlon, I'm like, there's no way I'd be able to do that
I'll get
personally.
you
I'm like, there's no way I'd be able to do that. Like, and you know, and her looking at the pull up being like, I'm never gonna be able to do that. But then you do it, and it's like, what else can I do now? And I just really, and it's after you show up, even when it's hard, right? Because like it's easy to be like, okay, it was impossible, but it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
But like the in between of that, when I'm sure when you did the triathlons, right, was there moments where you're like, this is so hard, like maybe I can't do this.
Oh, there was a half Ironman once, and it was in San Diego, on the base there, and there's this massive hill, like straight up on your bike, basically, because you get out of the water and you go on the bike ride. I was on the bike for maybe 3 hours or so. I went up that hill, and there were guys that were walking their bikes up that hill. And I was like, I am not walking my bike up this hill. And I just did it. It was crazy. I never thought I would have been able to get up that hill. And one other thing on the triathlon too, other things you think you'll never do. I was like, I'm not going to pee on myself. Do you know that's a thing? Like,
I heard about that. Yeah.
Do everything. So finally, I was like, I gotta go. I peed on myself, and I was like, yeah. I don't know why.
Wait, no, that's so great though.
I'm like, I can do anything.
I can pee on myself. I can ride my bike up a hill. Yeah, and it's something so proud. It's true. It's the thing that you're looking at that you're like, there's no way I'm going to be able to accomplish that. And then you do it. And again, it doesn't need to be a goal of a pull-up. It could be so many other things. But after that, I mean, I saw what it's opened up in Liz. And then I tried everything to get people to like see what I was like, what these women were feeling. And then obviously everyone online started like asking me. So I started to train them. And then we got her, Liz, her pull-up. Then like more women their pull up. Then women are coming to me who are like 16, 17 years old. They're getting their pull up. And I'm like, this is amazing. And then I decided I was trying to get somebody to like do it with me. I was trying to get like maybe Women's Health or something, but I just kept getting rejected from everybody. I'm like, we should do a thing on pull ups. They're like, no, we want to do, that's not what they were interested in. Finally, I was like, well, what am I waiting for? I'm like, why am I like waiting for somebody else to do it with me? Why don't I just make this community and help people get their pull up? So I just went all in on it.
That's amazing. And you're still doing it online.
Yeah, so I still have it online. It's a self-paced course. There's like, I think like a couple thousand women in there. And they're all just in there doing their pull-up together. It's great. I love seeing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what about you now? What is your workout routine?
It's weird because last year was the last time. So I've done American Ninja Warrior 6 times. Last year was my last time I decided that I was going to do it. So now my workout routine, it's kind of weird because I'm like, I don't have like a goal, like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm just trying to stay fit and to feel good in my body. So I do 3 days a week. I take a class and then I do like 2 days of yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're an amazing wake surfer.
Oh yeah. And I love wake surfing.
Another thing, maybe this summer, I can't get up.
Oh, we're going to get you up.
Yeah.
We're going to get you up.
Okay.
We'll go up.
Yeah.
I love working out for me right now is like, to do stuff like that. Like
I
love
fun.
being able to like have fun and be able to like still be functional in my body.
Yeah.
But I have to say it is kind of hard like when you don't have like an actual goal. Like you go from like I'm training for Ninja Warrior to like just go to the gym.
You know what? I set these mini goals for like 21 days and I'll change
Love
it.
that.
Just like add up. Be like, okay, we're going to stay consistent doing this. And I mark it in my kitchen on my little whiteboard. And I don't want to miss a day where I don't get to put a mark on my goal, so I do it.
Yeah.
It's a mental game.
For sure. I think for me, it's definitely been like a mental game now that we're like, again, I'm like, do I need to go? I'm not training for anything, but I'm also like, I feel good when I go. My body feels great.
Yeah.
I feel strong. Like there's great. I like going places right now because I get to meet, like I love being a part of like some kind of community. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, 3 days and those are all strength training days, the 3 days. And then the other 2 days are like yoga.
Yeah. If you want to work out with Angela, she is debuting in the Tone It Up app for Endless Summer Challenge.
I have some really good strength workouts in there.
Yeah, explain the workouts that you have in the program.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, we did a couple of different ones, right? We did like a full body one. We did an upper body focus one, a lower body, a core one, which was really great. And this is like using dumbbells. I think we had one. Oh yeah, we did one with the legs where we were doing like, Bulgarian split squats, and we walked through those. We love those.
I did some of those this morning with Sandy.
Yeah. So definitely there's going to be some awesome workouts in there that are going to really help you and empower you. And I think Liz was in a couple of them too. So
Liz Ploster, you're all over this
yeah,
podcast.
Liz Ploster, we love you.
Liz Ploster from Women's Health Magazine. She was the editor-in-chief, and she is teaching workouts in the program as well. So we start July 14th.
Amazing.
So
yeah,
make sure you sign up. It's fun. Okay, so your workouts. What about your dating life?
Oh my goodness.
We're just gonna like.
How long do we have?
I always ask my friends, especially in Austin, because there's a big community in Austin.
For sure.
But
yeah, I mean, for me, it's been really tough to date, honestly. I mean, I think I told you this, I had a long-term boyfriend who we like moved in together, whatever, that didn't wind up working out.
He came wake surfing with us once.
Oh, I think he did. Okay,
Like
never mind.
Travis.
He came. Okay, yeah, I forgot. But he came, just got engaged.
Oh, what?
We broke up like a year ago. He got engaged like last week. It's cool. It's fine. Congratulations to him. It wasn't a good fit, honestly. It's okay. And I think what I'm learning more as I get older is that it's okay if it's not a good fit, because you ultimately, at the end of the day, like you want both people to be happy and like not try and force it. My goal for dating has been to not date. And then see if I can find my person like in real life out in the wild with like whatever it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I did want to, I think I was telling you I was dating somebody for a little bit and he was so great, but he just said he didn't see a future with me. So that ended. But again, I'd rather know now because you only want to be with somebody who's going to be like all in on you. So my dating life has been, let me do all this stuff for me and be the best version of myself. And then hopefully that person just shows up.
It will happen.
Next podcast, I'll be like, I'm engaged.
There you go.
Manifesting.
So one of the things that you're really good at was mindset and getting unstuck. And you talk about that a lot in your podcast. For someone out there, because when you tore your ACL and you're stuck, and then you're like, what am I doing? Daddy's basement. And then going to New York City every morning, 4 a.m., hustling. Like, did you feel like you knew what your goal was? And do you feel like you know what your goal is now?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, I had no idea at that point. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to keep moving and keep doing something. I didn't want to I feel like when you get stuck is when you stop moving.
Yeah.
Not only moving your body, but also when you are just sitting in your house and be in your thoughts. I feel like that's when you get really, really stuck. So for me, I was like, I'm just going to keep moving. I don't know where this is going. I had to trust. I had no idea. I'm like, I didn't know when the next paycheck was coming in. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I think the biggest piece for that was like, just keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep showing up. And it eventually I was able to get out of that. The biggest part with getting unstuck for sure is also just taking the moment to recognize that it's okay if you feel like shit. Like if you feel shit, seriously.
Yeah.
It's okay if you don't feel allow yourself to recognize the feelings that you have. Like if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling mad, because I think what happens sometimes for strong people, maybe you feel the same. Like I try and hide it or mask it. Like, no, I'm strong. I'm going to be strong through this. And it's like, you're allowed to have the moment to just feel and allowed to release all of those things. And then once you start to do that, the power of it starts to lose its power.
Yeah.
And then you are able to move forward.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, in the walls of my house, Bobby knows, I don't try to be too strong. I can be, I'm sensitive, sort of. Bobby heard me say that, I'd be like, yeah, right. But I know, I feel anxiety. And when I feel it, I say it so that people around me know that if I'm in this mood, it's because I'm having anxiety right now. Because sometimes people might feel that energy and think it's them and take it personally. So I'm very vocal about what my emotions are. Or if one day I'm like, I'm sad today. But I think that's really, when you say keep moving, that's really important. Even on days when I'm like, I just want to sit here in my thoughts and make it worse.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I want to intentionally not do all the things that would make me feel good. But that goes back to, I mentioned the marking, 21 days. Like if I ever get in a rut, then I start that 21 days of my goal for 21 days. And it was 2 weeks ago. I'm in week 2, or no, I've been doing it 2 weeks. Because 2 weeks ago on a Monday, I had a terrible anxiety attack. And I was like, something's off. Okay, get that list out. We have to do all of these things every single morning. And I've been great, Isn't
it wild how it's as simple as that? It's simple but not easy. It's to actually do. But it's interesting how I'm the same exact way. I'm I'll just get in my head and spiraling, and then it's go back to your basics. People are always want to do all these crazy things. It's no, but are you moving?
Yeah.
Are you drinking water? Are you meditating? And it's so interesting. That's the one thing that you maybe don't want to do when all that's happening. Your brain is just no, I don't want to do that.
Well, even sleep. That sleep is a huge thing because I was up for a few hours every night. But then I started doing this mantra if I would wake up and my head was spiraling about everything I couldn't do right now because it's the middle of the night. I started this mantra of, there's nothing that you can do right now and you're safe. There's nothing. And I would just fall back and say, nothing you can do about it right now. You're safe. Nothing. Because we're just thinking about stuff that doesn't exist right now in the middle of the night.
For sure. Yeah.
And I've been sleeping great.
I don't know if you've heard that quote before. I think it's from Brianna West, who I'm obsessed with her. But she says basically, like, if you are depressed, you're living in the past. And if you're anxious, you're living in the future.
Yeah.
So you're
It's
saying,
true.
It's true. Like all the things that you're thinking about that, what if that does happen? Like, but it hasn't happened yet. The only thing you can actually control is what you're doing with yourself, like right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's your meditation practice? Do you have one?
Back in the day, I used to literally do it every single day. And then I feel like then I stepped it up to doing breath work, which was similar to meditation because I felt like it was able to get me out of my head a little bit more because I was actually like physically like doing something. But right now I'm doing it every single morning. So like I wake up and I do my meditation right away. I listen to one that's kind of like a little bit of breathing and meditation just to try and get myself present. And then I've been doing some type of meditation at night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, for someone listening, because I think a lot more people are meditating now. It's not as woo as it used to be.
Yeah.
Right. I think. But some people are like, I don't need to meditate. Why would I meditate? It's maybe someone like my husband, where he gets distracted easily. Maybe someone with ADD or ADHD. And I think one of the important tools is it's not just like for you to calm your nervous system, but think about how you actually use meditation in a meeting, or maybe you're on stage speaking, because meditation teaches you presence where the thoughts come in, but you learn to let them float away. So you can actually have a conversation with someone instead of sitting here, but really I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about the past. I'm anxious and depressed. Like,
For sure.
Like that's such a good tool to train your brain. So I really encourage people, don't look at the woo. Don't look at it as being selfish. It's literally a tool to help you focus.
And there's actual data on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, since I was a scientist, like I love data. Like I was like, okay,
Tell us the data.
I'm like, there's literal data showing that it will actually like it will reconfigure your brain by doing the meditation. So it's like, okay, there's actual data that this is working. And I love what you just said too about the meditation. I think people don't know that sometimes. It's like, I think for first with meditation, I thought it was like, oh, you're telling me to sit here and not think about anything. That's going to be impossible. But it's not that at all. Like you said, it's like, okay, no, the thoughts are going to creep in, but you say to yourself, I'm going to just come back to my present moment right now. And it's so, so important. But yeah, the data shows that it definitely helps your brain. So when I am starting to feel off, or what most people are feeling right now, especially when I'm doing like speaking right now, most people are saying I'm feeling disconnected. And when you're feeling disconnected, a lot of times the one thing you need to do is come back to yourself and go back out in nature, like get back to the world.
Yeah. So go meditate, everyone.
Go meditate.
Go to the Tone It Up app.
Yes.
Some in there.
Yes. I mean, I always like use some type of like that is so great to have as a tool, because then you don't need to sit there and be like, well, what I do? It's like she just will walk you through it.
And of all the years you've been in the fitness industry, what have the biggest changes that you've witnessed been?
Oh my goodness. I actually feel like I've seen so many great positive changes, which has been awesome. I'm loving how things are becoming more like eat more.
I know.
Before it was all like extreme dieting, like kind of insane. And now it's like, no, protein forward. Let's eat more for our body to fuel our body. So we build muscle, because muscle is going to help you live a better, higher quality life.
Yeah, it's incredible. I love it because, I mean, I've had Tone It Up for 16 years.
Yeah.
Even what we would preach back then is not what I would preach today.
For sure.
I mean, there's so much that has changed. The overworking out, the not eating enough. I love the protein situation. It's really hard. Do you get a gram of protein for every pound?
For sure.
You do?
Yeah. But I agree with you. The workouts are like, okay, cool. Also overtraining is like hit too many HIIT workout. I mean, before it was like spin classes galore, like all the time. And that was like too much for people's bodies. So I'm loving that they're saying no, strength training 3 times a week. I love that there's like different like modalities coming out there. Like I love seeing that there's Pilates and stuff like that out there.
I heard Pilates is like #1 workout again.
I could see that right now. It's so expensive. But
how much is the Pilates class?
Like $45. Yeah, $45, $50 every time. It's insane. But it is really, really good. I think it's I still think no matter what, with all of it, it's not one thing or the other. I think you need to have a nice fine balance of everything. Like the strength training, a little Pilates, like recovery.
I haven't done Pilates in like 15 years, but today when I went to go work out with Sandy at Nutribolt, and they just got a Pilates reformer machine, and she put me on there at the end of the workout and burned me out. My legs were shaking. Like, I should probably be doing Pilates, but I'm not going to pay $50 a class.
It's a lot. I mean, after a while, I was like, wait. I was like, I can't. I added it all up after. I'm like, I'm loving this. I'm addicted, but I'm like, I can't. I gotta stop that.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
At-home workouts in the app.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, wow. So, okay, biggest changes. So just more muscle and the protein.
I think more muscle, protein, more focus on longevity. I mean, a lot of the women who are like that I talked to for the pull-up stuff, I love it. They're coming to me, and it's like not so much just about like weight loss anymore. It's like, how can I live a longer, better, healthier life? And by doing that, you look and you feel good because you're feeling good internally.
Yeah. Do you do any biohacking stuff?
I was thinking about this the other day because I mean, I feel like sometimes in Austin specifically, biohacking gets a little out of hand. And I also feel like sometimes with that, like people want to biohack, but then they don't have the basics down. I'm like, you should probably biohack after you have like some basics down and not like rely on the biohack. But the biohacking, I love red light for sure. I have one in my house. I love the red light. And then the other thing I've been doing, I guess it's kind of a biohack. I turn my phone on to black and white. So I get like less of a dopamine hit when I'm on it. So that's a little hack that I've been doing. And ice baths. I like doing those, like, but not all the time, like sometimes.
I love an ice bath. I know there's like some controversy out there how when women shouldn't, but I'm like, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, I love it. I definitely feel like the ice baths that's also a great way to meditate. And then like the whole thing with the vagus nerve on your back. Like there's so many things that will be good for it. But yeah, you also have to do what feels good for you.
Yeah. I mean, some people hate it and that's fine. But that when you speak about meditation and anxiety, my ice bath, the cold plunge, helps me if I'm anxious because you go in there and you just breathe. And I'm really pissed because it just broke yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
What am I gonna do?
High maintenance things over here.
Bobby's out of town. I can't fix it. But
I've been wanting to do it at my gym, but like if you go at the end of the day, like it's kind of gross. So like you have to like pick the time of day to go.
Do you go to Collective?
I go to On It.
On It. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never been
Which
there.
is now not called On It anymore. It's not called Correct. They just changed it.
Why?
It was a whole thing.
Wait, is this like Austin gossip?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do Austin. I'm like, because Collective is with the K.
I know. So
okay,
now,
is there
So now Austin's going to be like Collective Correct. Like, I'm like, what's with the K? It makes me think about like Kardashian. Like how everyone did stuff with the K for a while. I was like, ooh, we should have changed that.
I don't know if you noticed, but all 7 of my dogs have a K in their name.
Oh no. So you're part of it.
Yeah, I'm part of the problem.
So now we'll have all the gyms and then all your dogs in the front of it.
Yeah. Okay, so where can people find you now?
Yeah, Instagram at Angela_Gargano.
And then the pull-up revolution.
Yeah, if you go on my website, Angela-Gargano.com, you'll see the pull-ups. You'll see anything too for my keynote speaking. That's what I've been doing a lot of right now. So you can go on there. The podcast is on there. What if it all goes right?
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, one last piece of advice. Like the first thing someone can do, they're sitting at home, driving, listening to this, and they're like, I'm not where I feel like I should be in my life right now. What's my first step?
First of all, you never fully arrive. So just always remind yourself of that. You're probably always going to be in my keynotes. I like to call it the hallway in between. You're probably always going to be in this like hallway in between moment. So I think the first thing is obviously like recognize how you're feeling about it. Okay, cool. That's a frustrating piece of wherever you're at, but ask yourself, what if it all goes right? What does that even look like for you?
Yeah.
Ask yourself, do you actually know that? Like, make sure you really actually know that first. Because sometimes we're sitting there and we're like, I'm not where I want to be. I don't where I want to be. But like, do you really truly know
where you want to be?
Where you want to be.
So you're just floating.
If you're just floating, yeah. And then get very clear on that and make sure it's where you want to be, not where anyone else wants to be, not where you think from like social media. Like, really take some time to reflect on that. And then when you do know that, don't try and overhaul it in a day. Like, take one small step, just like Karena was saying with her 21-day challenge, like one little thing every single day.
My personal challenge.
To get there. Yeah.
No, it is. It's the tiny little things. Part of my 21 days in my morning routine is making my bed. You're already accomplished. Go outside and I get fresh air. I make tea every morning. I don't rush into my morning. I'm taking these like smaller morning or slower. Can't talk.
For sure.
And just soaking it in a little more.
Exactly. I mean, because it's like, again, you're never going to fully arrive. What's the rush?
Yeah.
And someone said the other day, and I'll just say this real quick too, is that this is just all research.
Yeah.
Like it's all, everything that you're doing is research. Cool. You realize that you're not where you want to be and you don't like the stuff you were doing. Cool. That was research. You didn't like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
You can change, you get to choose and you can change where you're at now from where you're going.
I like that too about the research, and failure is not really failure. Like at least you tried.
Exactly. It's always redirection. It doesn't feel like that at the moment, but it's always a redirection. You've always learned something from it. And yeah, you have to look at failure differently. And also I feel like if you have failed, it's like you've won because you've tried, because most people don't do anything. They don't try anything. So I mean, for me, I feel like I failed so much and it sucks sometimes. I get beaten up like all the time, but I'm also like, at least I went for the stuff. And I tried it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being here at the Big Silence studio,
Thanks for having
Angela.
me.
The Big Silence. It's time to sing.